Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Club Collab. I'm Max Jimenez, and this is my co-host Ryan. Ryan, say what's up.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on, everyone? Again, we're coming to you live. We're gonna let a couple people get on here first. We have a very special guest today, a very good friend of mine, David Olds. He's gonna come on and talk about some strategies that you will be able to use in today's market. Listen, the market's shifting. We're seeing a lot of changes. You guys know, you guys that work with Ryan and myself, you guys know how things are changing rapidly, and there's no one better that we can have on today to talk about how to navigate those changes, not on the acquisition side, but on the disposition side. I remember saying, Ryan, when I met David, he said, you know how you guys focus so much on acquisition? He goes, why just do the opposite? I focus a lot on disposition. And I said, awesome, because not a lot of people do that. So it's exciting to hear that because he's going to get perspective on the buyer side. But I'm excited for tonight to bring him on and have him speak on that a little. Talk about what he's got going on and answer everybody's questions, because I think that's the biggest challenge. Wouldn't you say, Ryan? Disposition right now.
Yeah, I mean that's really kind of taken over lately, kind of the trend, right? The last few months, everyone's doing a lot of dispositions and developing the disposition side. Along with us, obviously we we did the same thing. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
a hot topic, man, lately, right? Like how do you get rid of properties and who has the buyers and who's buying what and where?
Yep.
So it is a
Yeah, I'm
lot
stoked
more
for that.
buyer driven
Yeah, I'm
for
stoked
sure.
for that. Yeah, so a couple announcements before I bring David on is one, we have the 30-day deal challenge. We narrowed it down finally to the final 20 out of, we had close to 100 submissions, narrowed it down to
Sweet.
the 20. We're going to email all 20. I was supposed to email you guys today, but I'm going to do it tomorrow morning, and then out of that 20, we're going to bring you on a Zoom call, and out of that 20, we're going to select 5 of you to work with us side by side, wherever it is that we can help you. You obviously, we're gonna walk you. There's another qualification step. That's why we're gonna bring all 20 of you onto the Zoom call, so that way the next step, so you know the next step. So for those of you that are still waiting for that email, believe me, it's coming. For those of you 20 that got selected, and then we're gonna narrow it down to 5 of you. But also, the second thing is that we do have I have a wholesale intensive with Rafael Cortez. He was going to be on here to talk a little bit about it, but he can't. But we're going live. Make sure you don't miss this. Write this down. Thursday at 3:30 p.m. I want you to bring all your questions. We're going to go live on Instagram and talk a lot deeper into what we're going to get into, the questions, and also what we're going to get into that day. So on August 26th, the link is below. So if you want to click on the link and learn more, definitely go ahead and go there. So without further ado, guys, this is a live show. The one thing I ask, like I always do on every show, is bring your questions, all your situations, anything that David starts to talk about, and you're going through something right now in your business. This is why we made this show. We want to collaborate with you. We want to have you, submit your questions, and also we want to help you. We want to get those questions answered. So, and share this with somebody. This is a live stream. Share this with somebody that that basically might benefit from this, that might that can learn from this as well. So bring your questions, and without further ado, I'm gonna bring Mr. David Olds onto the scene. What's going on, David? How you
Fellas,
doing?
I'm doing so good, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. We're excited. I've been wanting to have you on for a while, and I think you and I, we met at what is it, Freedom, right? I think it was
All in, yeah.
Freedom. Yeah, all
Yeah,
in.
which one of them?
Yeah, I think it was weird the way we met. I actually was talking to a gentleman out of Pennsylvania market, and then he's like, how are you guys dealing with buyers and selling your properties?" And I look that way, and then I see Robert Wensley, and I said, "Oh, wait a minute, right here." So I called him over, and then we walked down to where you were, and then Ricardo made the introduction, and that was sweet. That's where I met you, and
I can't tell you how many
you know.
people I've met with Ricardo. That might be his superpower.
Yeah, that is his superpower, connecting people, and the guy's awesome. And so, yeah, man, it was a pleasure meeting you, and we
Yeah.
pretty much have connected ever since. So, and so yeah, so I know I know I talked a little bit about some of the things we're gonna cover. Do you want to just tell a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes and stuff. And then as questions come in, we'll get to those.
Sure.
What market you in, and then what's your main business and your business model.
Yeah, the very shortest version. So I am based out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, which, since nobody ever knows where that is, I'll tell you it's exactly 2 hours north of Atlanta. If you were to jump on 75 and start heading north, Chattanooga is just the first city that you come to in Tennessee. But I've been an investor since 2002. So I've been around.
Wow.
I've seen a thing or two. That actually rhymes. That's almost like the first time I've
Been
ever
an
done
investor.
that rhymes. Started in 2002. Just fixing and flipping on the side. It's our side hustle. My wife and I both had full-time jobs. The recession hit. It was terrible, especially at the time I lived in Florida. So it was really bad for us. And we relocated to Chattanooga and became full-time investors and started wholesaling. So done a lot, wholesaled over 1,500 houses. We've rehabbed a bunch, flipped a bunch, probably rehab more of our own rentals than we have fix and flips. And we just grown our business since June of 2009, just kind of bigger and bigger and bigger, to where now we have a bunch of different businesses. But it all started from wholesaling. Wholesaling was the core of all of it.
Right. Okay. So you started in 2002, and then then you went through the whole recession thing, and so how did you survive that? Because I know obviously we're in a recession now, right? So I think a lot of people are maybe wondering that.
I don't think we're in a recession, but
I don't think so either, but whatever.
I mean, I don't know. I think, anything that I've seen lately says we're still in a buyer's market. Because that equilibrium point, I think, is 6 months of inventory. And I don't think anybody has 6 months of on-hand inventory in MLS.
Right.
But anyways, so yeah, we both had full-time jobs. I worked for 84 Lumber. My wife worked for a custom home builder. She was an assistant superintendent and then purchasing manager. And, the recession happened. And so back then it happened in very slow motion, right? And I'm not saying we're in a recession now, but but when it happened there, market cycles go up and go down, right? So going over the top of that hill, we were probably 8-10 months into it before we realized it had even started, because it was a different time, right? There was no 24-hour news. There was no Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, all the constant barrage of information and the need to fill space, right? Which is how you get so much crazy news. So, but anyways, we both had jobs, full-time jobs. We were in the construction business, which, very short, story about Florida. Florida is like a three-legged stool. It lives on three economies: tourism, construction, and agriculture. Okay. And the recession hits, right? So what stops? Construction.
Yep.
The recession hits, tourism stops. So Florida just crumbled. I mean, absolutely crumbled pretty quick when it set in. So we looked around. We knew that we wanted to buy some multifamilies and do some stuff. Right. Looking at other markets, kind of close by. We didn't know if we were originally going to move or just invest remotely. And Chattanooga popped up on the radar. And two things that made it pop: it was a relatively small city, under 200,000, and it was chosen to be Volkswagen's first production facility in the United States, which was a big deal. So that was anticipated to bring 20,000 jobs. So that's a 10% population growth. That's
crazy.
And then Amazon opened 2 distribution centers here, one in Chattanooga and one in Cleveland, Tennessee, which is about 30 minutes north. So kind of with those two things, looking at the market combined with the existing economy here, there's a lot of technology. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield, Unum, which is an international insurance company. Little Debbie's are made here. We have the textile mills down in Dalton, Georgia, doing carpet and stuff. So it was a very diverse economy where we wanted to make sure that if things went south again, we weren't going to get stuck. So that's kind of why we chose Chattanooga.
Got it. That's cool. Yeah, no, I appreciate sharing that. I just wanted to get some backdrop on your story and stuff. And you and I think a little similar because we watch a lot of podcasts and stuff, and I just want people to know a little bit about you. So how did you get to the place where you're at now in your business? Because and because right now we're talking about one of the hardest things, not the hardest, but I would say one of the things that people are struggling with right now, because I talked to Rafael today as well. Is we were not like in a prosperity bubble for like what the last 3 years, right? You hit a button and things were like ding, right, and it sold.
Yeah.
So where you're at now, what does your business model look like right now? And then I know you're helping a lot of people across the country as well. We'll get to that eventually. But right now, what does your business look like right now?
So we run a couple of main businesses. The one is Nationwide Property Liquidators, which is we're just nationwide wholesaling, and
Yep.
and we've actually weaned that back to be very specific in the markets that we're targeting.
Okay.
Happy to talk about that if you want. So
Yeah.
wholesaling, we have our rental portfolio, which over time we've accumulated about an $8 million portfolio of rental properties,
Nice.
and that came again from wholesaling. All
Right.
of those, almost all of those properties were no money down deals. So
Nice.
we're really good at that. But now, because I'm busy with so many other things, we've actually outsourced that to property management to handle
Okay.
that. They're actually doing a way better job than I was. Yeah, so wholesale, we've got the rehab. We do a little bit of coaching, the coaching courses and things. And then the fourth main company that we're active in is Easy REI Closings. And
Okay.
that company, we're a service-based business. We're an administrative service-based business for real estate investors and wholesalers across the country. And basically we become their back office, handling all the paperwork so that we can get their contracts, through the title process and closed. And the whole idea behind Easy REI Closings is that, our job is to help you make more money. We want to help you make money by focusing on the revenue, by the activities that generate revenue, right? Talking to sellers, talking to buyers, the exact stuff that you guys talk about here. And not sitting on the phone with a title agent trying to sort through how, what a monument of title is, or why do I need these, affidavits of heirship and all that type of stuff. Because, one thing about us as investors is we generally deal with dirty titles. Grandma, went to Staples and quick cleaned it to a niece, and, and then, died, and, we just don't have clear titles. So we really specialize in cleaning those type of things up.
I love it. I always joke around. I thought that only happened here in Phoenix. I didn't think that happened anywhere else.
We deal with some of the craziest stuff. Yeah. I mean, even that business has grown beyond what we thought it would be originally. We thought we were just like, oh, this is going to be a great little business. We'll get one or two nationwide title companies and we'll just help wholesalers and it'll be fine. And the reality is we probably do more novations than anything else right now. Because
okay.
That's such a trendy thing. And,
right. It's the new. We call it the new hot chick.
It is. I want to be the new hot chick someday, but
yeah. So earlier you made a comment about you said something about shifting or pulling back from a market. I didn't catch that. What's going on there?
Sure. So we for a lot of years we were very SMS based. I mean, all we did was SMS, right? Back when you might guys remember 2 years ago when you could text anything and it would go through and you could do 50,000 texts a week and have 90%. Well, obviously those days are gone, and I really think texting as a mass marketing platform is probably, what do you think, 6 months, maybe a year left?
Probably, yeah. It's not dead, but it's on life support.
Dude, it's getting crushed. So we knew a couple things happened. I had a split with my partner at the time.
Okay.
It happens. We just decided, just go in different directions. So in July of last year, 2021, we had the opportunity to relaunch everything. So we stopped, we tore our business all the way down to the ground. And we realized that SMS was just a very short-term answer. And we needed to go to PPC. So it became a kind of a clutch and break out of one and into the other. So PPC is different, right? For those people that don't understand, SMS is text message. Goodness, it's late for me, guys. Text messaging marketing, right? So with that, you can be very, very specific because you're going to go pull a list, right? You're going to generate a list of exactly the people that you want to talk to. So if you want houses over 1,000 square foot that have 3 bedrooms, 2 baths in a particular, you can go all the way down to whatever the sub zip code or micro zip code, whatever they call it. But anyways, it can be
you can get very granular with it. You can get very granular. Yeah.
Right. So you can do that. PPC really isn't the same, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some people have done that, but I'm not smart enough to get down to the block area. So PPC for us, we're targeting basically cities or counties.
Right.
Okay. So that's fine. So the way we started with PPC is I've never been the smartest guy. I've been in retail forever, and you just follow somebody else what they're doing. So I said, okay, this is a year ago. Let's go. What are the hottest markets? I don't know. Let's see where the hedge funds are buying.
Right.
That makes sense, right? Hedge funds were super popular a year ago. So, we looked at, hedge funds and said, okay, we're going to go with these counties here. And it was, I don't know, maybe 150 cities and counties. Right. And, that works okay.
Correct.
We learned stuff from it, right? So I think SFR3 was buying in Buffalo, right? Buffalo, New York. So I'm like, because I'm trying to be the smart guy, right? And I've been doing this 20 years, and we still make mistakes. I said, okay, well, I'm going to get the county of Buffalo, right? Because I want to, it's easier. I'll get more people. Well, I mean, let me see if I'm pointing on my screen here. So like if Buffalo is like right here on the Great Lakes, the county runs way out here. So what happens is properties way out far in the county out here, and literally like we get a house. 3 houses sold in the last year because it's farmland, right? Our marketing was targeting that area. So we realized pretty quick that wasn't the best way to go about it, because as any business owner knows, like your marketing, it's dollars going out, right? Everyone's a little soldier. Every dollar goes out needs to come back with 3 friends, right?
For sure.
Friends. So we don't want to spend money in bad areas. And so many people, we all know, so everybody talks about nationwide PPC, $3 clicks or, very low cost per click, but so many of those clicks are worthless, right? So that's just not the way that I operate. We want to operate at a higher level. So we went through a couple of permutations where we just cranked it down, and we kept, shrinking down the areas where we were marketing. So one of the things was, we got out of some of those more rural areas or counties that had rural areas. The next thing was we got out of areas like Ohio and Michigan and some of the northern states, because there's just less pressure on the market. There's more properties than buyers. So there's not a demand issue, too much supply. So, we've done 4 or 5 kind of culls of our list where we've just really zeroed it down. I think the next one was we got out of all non-disclosure states.
Right.
Because they're very difficult to comp. And, we like to know exactly what cash buyers have paid. And a non-disclosure state just means that statutorily, the state says you're not required to publish the price of what your property sold for, which is fine. But for me, dropping in from another state.
I was going to say that's fine. Like, it's optional, but we know 9 out of 10 people are not going to disclose what it sold for, I believe, unless you have the MLS Act, from what we've seen anyways.
Right. And the problem with the MLS access is that is only going to include properties that went through MLS.
Right.
What do we do? 30% of the properties in the US don't go through MLS. They're person to person or business to business. Yep. So, I guess if you have MLS access or Zillow, but now we're on the 70% of ARV. Now we're doing the math, and it's just not accurate, So for us, we want to be a very high speed company. We don't like guesswork. I don't like putting stuff under contract and not being right. So anyway, we just weaned it down a couple of times over the last year to now where we're in 43 markets that are highly targeted. We know we're really solid in those markets, and the results, the cost has gone up just slightly. But anyways, we're just really happy with it.
No, that makes sense. I think you guys, it seems like you got ahead of the curve a little bit, or ahead of what's going on. Yeah. Even though I agree with you, I think there's still a lot of opportunity out there. And the one thing you said earlier that's still kind of in the back of my mind was how much coverage there is on a 24/7 level of all the negativity, right? Including the state of the economy and everything else. I think that's kind of what drives and hypes up what's really going on. But us being like out here in the real world, and something Ryan and I always talk about, like, there's still deals. Like, we're doing deals. We're still doing, transaction business. There's no blood on the streets, right?
No. Listen, I would love a recession. I don't want people to get hurt in a recession. I just want them to think there's a recession so we can go
so they can go back to regular jobs.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest regret, if you talk to any investor that's been around for a long time, is that we didn't buy more houses the last time.
Yep.
I have 77 rentals. We had over 100 that we had bought, and we sold some, and some were in partnerships. But I'm waiting for it to happen again so I can go buy 300.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Ken says being in a Texan, being in an under-closure state can be tough, and I think that's what you were talking about, right?
Texas is the one state we make an exception for. One, I love Texas. I feel like I'm there more than I'm in my own state.
Right.
And it's like its own country, right? It's so damn big. You got to figure out a way to make Texas work. Yeah. Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth. So we will still market those areas. But yeah, like Mississippi and Missouri and all these weird little podunk, like we're out of there. Now listen, if you live there, you can do deals, right? That's right. I'm not saying they're shitty areas for everybody, but for us, virtually, business, to be able to drop in and drop out, like we need good numbers. Like we run our business off of numbers.
That makes sense. Ryan, were you going to say something?
No, I was just listening to the story. I never. This is the first time I actually met David, so I'm just listening to.
Yeah, David's good.
Yeah, I run on too long, so just stop me.
So then so you are marketing for acquisitions as well, and then you the BPC and stuff. That's cool. I didn't know that part because I know that you were doing deals and stuff, but I didn't know how you were marketing and stuff. But that's cool. So right now, are you 100% PPC, or are you doing any type of other market? Okay, you are. Okay,
we're 100% PPC. I'm about to hire somebody. I need to find someone. I want to have them. We did this 2 years ago. To drive for dollars in our city, every street. Right. We had it done a couple of years ago because I'm starting to see a few more houses with tall grass. Our company, we run a full dispositions team. We've got 4 people over there. In fact, right now we're bumping up our ad spend. So you guys are familiar with Google. When you fool with your criteria in Google AdWords, you can't do too many things at once.
Right.
So, we shrunk down about 4 weeks ago, might have been the last adjustment. And we had to let that ride for about 2.5 weeks to make sure it was good and stable.
Yep.
And last week and this week, we bumped up $100 a day, $100 a day yesterday. So we're going to $1,000 a day in PPC spend.
Wow.
We'll be there, I don't know, a couple weeks. But now we're hiring and increasing our ad spend.
Is that total across all markets, or is $1,000 a day? Okay, got it. Yeah. So how many markets are you in right now? You said total
42 or 43. Yeah, I want to say 43, but
nice. And do you do your own PPC, or you have a third party company that handles it for you?
Absolutely not, dude. I can't. I couldn't work most days. So Corey Geary.
Yeah.
So he's my boy, and we're really tight. And he's like, dude, broski, if you want to come over, fly to Phoenix, and I'll teach you how to do PPC, because he charges a lot of money for that.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot of stuff together. I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting there, and honestly, Max, about 8 minutes in, I'm like, fuck this. Can I swear on this? I'm like, fuck this. There is absolutely no way that I'm going to get on a plane and remember jack shit about what you just told me. We hire about, man.
You're like, can I book my flight back home earlier?
No, man. I love hanging with him, and he's so smart. But
yeah, he is. He's a good guy.
That's not the thing I'm good at, right?
Yeah.
It's not my deal. So,
no, he's a good guy. He's definitely a sharp dude too. So yeah, he's right here, back here in our market, right in Phoenix. So cool. So full PPC, all 42 markets, which is great. I know a lot of people now, even I talked a little bit about it, but a lot of people are the ones that can. They're moving over to PPC, right? Getting away from cold calling and text, SMS. Obviously, we talked about being probably dead by now, but yeah. So then let's talk a little bit about your dispo side, and then we'll talk, we'll just hit a little bit on the TC. So I know that what are some challenges you're seeing right now? Because you guys are looking at deals all across the country from different investors. Is there maybe like 2 or 3 things that you're seeing where somebody that's new that we can help them in, as far as what to stay away from, what things to do? We can start there and maybe give some advice and some pointers and some things that people can take away.
Yeah. So we do a lot of our own deals. We do a lot of JV deals.
Right.
Then, of course, in our transactions company, we're closing 40 to 50 deals a week over there for investment.
Wow. You guys hear that? 40 to 50 deals a week. That's crazy.
Yeah, we're busy. We've got almost 100 clients, and there are some big players in there. There's some of them are doing over 800,000 a month.
Right.
So, some small guys too. Like, we signed up somebody today they're like, I have 5 novations. We want to get started. I'm like, here you go. We'll get them closed for you. The biggest problem, of course, is being overpriced. And I always hate to say price is the issue, right? Because that's always the easiest thing for people to, to say, oh, I'm just priced too high. I'm gonna lower the price. And that sometimes is a race to the bottom in your company. You can't sell everything for $5,000, right? You'll go broke if you have any kind of office and infrastructure and expenses, right? So, typically, what I would tell somebody is, there's you made some kind of mistake in evaluating the property, right?
Right.
The basement is flooded and you just didn't ask the right question. You sent your buyers over there. There's some kind of an issue. The next, and really the most common issue is you did a really shitty job marketing your property. You didn't get it out there in front of enough people. And that's, the conversation we had where we treat dispositions like acquisitions. We are very aggressive about it, right? We leave no stone unturned. We're very specific and, intentional about the steps that we take on every deal so that we can get it moved. One of my early mentors, beat the phrase into me, play all of your aces, right? What we don't want to do is day one, we release a property, or we call it launching a property. And we send out an email and we hope for the best.
Right.
A week later, we're like, well, shit, that didn't work. Let's post it on Facebook. Like, let's see if that'll work.
Right.
We give that a week, and then we're like, well, maybe we resend the email again one more time. And, let's call some buyers. You know what I mean? Because what happens is before you know it, you're out of time.
Yeah. It goes quick too.
Oh, dude, it does. So depending on whether you're, on a 30 or 60-day contract, and in today's market, people do not be on a 14-day contract. Those days are gone, right? Title, the quickest title searches you're seeing any place are 14 days right now. So when you get a contract, you should hear in your ear, you should hear like a clock ticking, right? You got to start action and go quick. So if you only got a 30-day contract, you signed it on the 1st, it might take you 4 or 5 days to get pictures and get your shit online. By the time, you got 10 days to sell that thing. Like, that's not a lot of time.
No,
it's really not. So you got to be quick, and you got to have a good plan for Dispo. And, you need to shoot it out there, in front of as many people as you can.
Yeah.
On the phone, talk to your serious buyers first, work your way down the list. You just, it's going to take some work right now. The gravy days are over.
Yeah, no, I love that you said that, because one thing I'm thinking right away is, right, like I mentioned earlier, is we were in a bubble of prosperity where you push a button and hey, and one of the things I saw, I never sold one deal to a hedge fund at all, ever, which maybe I left money on the table.
I've done some, but like, it was never the greatest thing for us. I was talking to somebody at the Wisconsin event this last weekend where he said they'd come in and bid over 30 grand over asking. And I'm like, dude, I never experienced that. Ever. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we tried and we talked and I think, obviously we didn't try hard enough, obviously, but still they would send me a buy box, and then by the time we found something, oh, sorry guys, no more pools. Oh, sorry guys, no more, now it's got to be near school.
Yellow line roads or something.
Yeah, but we've had that, the last year and a half, 2 years. And I was gonna follow up a comment that you said, right? Like, now that's long gone. Like, that's that we're no longer in those days. So I'm assuming like you're probably having to coach more when you're talking to your JV partners or people who are selling you deals. Are you finding that as well?
Oh yeah, I mean, so you're an investor lift, right? I've had some of the I'll word this correctly because I don't want to. I've had some of the biggest people that were doing 500,000 call me on the phone like in a fucking panic and say, dude, I don't know what's going on. Like, nothing's selling. I'm like, dude, you're on the beach in a Lambo talking about how much business you're doing. I'll tell you offline who it was. But anyways, like, dude, you got to have a plan. Like, that was, we never depended on that. It was one of the things we did. I had one of my admin people would always go online and submit the deal or email it to them. But if they bought it, they bought it. If they didn't, they didn't. Like, we didn't stop. We didn't not do our other steps. And, sort of where all the steps came from is, so when I started, in 2009, like, I did all the Dispo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, we grew and grew and grew while over time we grew. And I finally started to hire a couple of people and really start to scale out when we started going virtual or nationwide in other markets. And I remember I had these 3 girls, and I would have these meetings with them, and we'd sit there and I'd say, okay, this property, where are we at? And, Rachel would say, oh, I'm doing, I've done this, this, and this, but it hasn't sold yet. Cassandra would tell me, oh, I've done this, that, and the other thing, but it hasn't sold yet. And then, Taylor would tell me something else, and I'd be like, God darn, we're supposed to be doing 10 things. You guys are doing 6, and you aren't even all 3 doing the same fucking 6 things. Like, we're all over the map. And that's when I realized, like, I can sell, you guys can sell, because it's just in our head, right? Like, we're just innately, we have that ability, right? Whatever it is.
Right.
Maybe it's because we're the owner and we care. I don't know, right? Whatever it is. But when you bring in people off the street, it is a 9-to-5 job or 9 to 6 or whatever it is. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I don't even want to say that, but you have to be able to give them a process, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's what our Dispo course does, is it literally sets somebody to come in off the street, and we take them from A to Z, what this job is, and how to do it effectively.
No, I love that, and I want to have you talk a little bit about that course here a little bit later on the show. Claudio said PPC is a must in this market. You kind of touched on that. Jesse loves your comment. Play all your aces.
Yeah, man, that's that is the So you guys got time? I'll tell you one quick story. So
of course.
So I when I was first starting out, I did a ton of RIA meetings and to try to learn, right? And also 15, 18 years ago, none of what exists none of this was here. So anyways, I paid to go to this marketing course, like a one-night thing. I remember Lee Spaziano at a CFRI in Orlando taught it. It was a Wednesday night. I remember everything about it. So he's doing a classroom presentation, and for break, he's like, okay, everybody, let's go out into the, we're gonna go out in the parking lot. I want you all to follow me. We're like, okay. So he walks out there, and he's got like this brown paper bag. So he's like, all right, everybody, come around me. Okay. So he's like, okay, we've talked about marketing all night, right? Yeah. Everybody says, yeah. Okay. He says, okay, so let's do this. He said, and he pulls out of the ball, like one of those little, now they're 25 cents, like little rubber bouncy balls that you get out of the machine.
Oh, yeah.
Market, right? So he's like, okay, so if I was to have a house for rent and I went to True Value, Ace Hardware, Do It Best, and I got one of those little orange signs that says for rent, and I got a Sharpie and put my phone number on it and put it in the window upstairs, would that be marketing? Would we say yes? We can all agree that's marketing.
Yeah, it is.
Great, but it is marketing, right?
Yeah.
He says so. He's like, so I'm this ball that represents that. Whips it up in the air, comes down, doesn't hit anybody, bounces away. He's like, okay, so that was your shot at marketing. What do you think we should do next? And someone's like, we go get one of those ones you put in the yard, the bigger ones, right? He's like, good idea. Go buy that, put your phone number on it. Now maybe somebody drives by, they see that, they see the other sign. So now we have 2 balls, right? Whips them up in the air, catches one person on the shoulder, right? He's like,
touch someone.
Yeah, right? What else could we do? Remember, this is, 2004, right? So let's all take it easy with all the online shit. He's like, well, maybe we go put a sign at the corner by the main road with a directional.
Yeah.
Oh, now we got 3 balls up in the air we're throwing up there, right? Newspaper, Craigslist ad. Now we start doing all the things, right? The little pieces of paper with the tear off shit in the laundromat, right? Like now he's got a handful of like 15, 20 balls, throwing them up in the air. Now, pop, 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 pop. Everybody's getting hit in the fucking head. What's the point there? The point is I have to get my shit in front of as many people as possible. That's the point, right? Because if you 2 are my 2 best buyers and you buy everything from me, well, Max, you may, have sold a rehab and you're going on 30-day vacation.
Yeah.
Ryan, you're mad at me because I said ball guys suck and fucking you're not buying for me no more, right? So now what do? Now I don't have a good buyer's pool. So now I'm done. Now I'm out of business. So you got to have as many buyers as you can. You need to be qualifying those buyers, finding what they're looking for. But dude, you got to get your deal in front of as many people. If fucking Pornhub is the place where investors are hanging out, I will buy ads there. I don't do it, right? Because my job is, right? I have a wife, 2 boys, 3 fat dogs. I have an office full of people. We need to sell deals. So whatever I've got to do, we are selling deals, right? And that's got to be your mindset. Play all of your aces.
I love that because one of the things I always talk about is, you know, a lot of people build VIP buyers list, and what happens is they don't actually go and build out more relationships. They get used to, you know, sending the deals to the same people, and what happens is, you're right, some of those people will end up not buying no more for the next 60 days, and it can hurt you really bad. You know, and one thing was what we're going to keep harping on, because a lot of people change their business models to this is, we got hedge funds, push the button, and if the local investor doesn't want to buy it, screw them. The hedge fund will buy it, and guess what? Now it's coming back to you. You're probably gonna have to bite your tongue and go make that relationship again with that local buyer or that local investor. We're seeing that too. Ryan's. I mean, you want to talk about how much time you spend on the phone, Ryan's, and all that?
Yeah, no, it's definitely changed. I know I watched your course, David. It's been a few months, but that's how I learned how to basically get my system going, was basically following what you had. This is before I had Investor Lift, but before it was just pushing a button, texting and emailing, and then you would get responses back. But right now I'm calling people, pulling lists, calling people. And Max heard this the other day. The guy actually received either my text or my email, and that didn't even do anything. But I happened to call him. I didn't even know. I just happened to hit the right guy.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I think I saw that earlier. Then he pulls it up. It's like, yeah, I got it. But it took my conversation with him to get him to go, look at the property.
People are busy. I have 8,932 emails in my. People don't, maybe they read it, maybe they don't. My wife has 0. She reads every one. But
I have 0 too. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you're awesome. People are busy, and ringless voicemails, dude. I can't even remember the last time I listened to one of those or any voicemail, right? You got to talk to people. We had we have a out of office retreat for our management team, leadership team twice a year, December, and then we did it the first week of July. And we go out, we rent a hotel for 2 days, sorry. And we literally tear our business down. We throw it up on a whiteboard, and we try to break it and see where we're not, living up to our own projections. And Narissa, who's my marketing manager, she pulled the data that 70% of our properties sold come off of the list of people we call. Exactly what you said, Ryan.
I was just about to ask, what was your?
That's not saying you didn't touch them with a Facebook ad, or you didn't touch them with the email, but it's getting them on the phone is what sold the deal.
Damn, that's powerful. So 70% of all business that you did was
we do a lot.
Yeah. No, I know. And so, but 70% of that was from people you actually called and picked up the phone. That's amazing. I'm a big believer in picking up the phone. What the time you spend in writing an email or text, and Ryan used to trip out on this, I could solve the issue in a 2-minute conversation.
Oh, my God. I get so aggravated with people on our team. We'll bring in somebody new and they want to text. I'm like, dude, you're not selling anything via text. You don't, people do business with people they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
You got none of that in text. And most often you're just going to get somebody jerking you along, just for whatever reason.
100%.
Have I sold something in text? Yeah. To a guy I know in my town,
right?
Where we have a relationship, but that is not the norm. You're not dropping into any city and, going through the text process over the phone.
No, definitely not. So Claudio's got a question. We'll try to break this down. It looks like there's 2. So, David, how much steeper should we be locking up across the board, generally speaking, from what you're seeing, your experience? Obviously, you're in 42 states. I don't know if you can kind of just give a general answer. Obviously, we go different markets. We can sit here all night, but where are you at generally locking these up across different states?
I mean, we're definitely going lower. We're telling our acquisitions team, so typically we would give them a range, right?
Right.
Okay, we need to lock this up between 60 and 70.
Right.
Well, now our underwriter is going back and saying, yeah, we're just telling them you need to be between 58 and 62. Right. We've dialed it back.
Yep.
We comp probably a little different than a lot of people. I don't
Right.
comp with 70% of ARV and all that stuff.
We don't
I
either.
don't, yeah, what I've done for 12 years
Yep.
is, we want to search by cash buyers, what cash buyers are paying in
Yep.
this market. So we want to pull a radius of, a mile, 2 miles, the smaller, the better.
Right.
And I want to see what apples and apples houses have sold to for cash buyers. Now, where we used to go back a year, now we're having to shrink that in, right?
Yeah.
When we're putting out our properties and we're giving comps, like literally people are going, yeah, but that was 5 months ago. I'm like, we have not falling off the side of the earth. It ain't that bad. But, uncertainty, fear, uncertainty breeds fear, or fear breeds uncertainty, whatever it is. And people are, they just want to be sure. Right.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Let me ask you this. I have a follow. I want to add just a follow up to that question is, are you adjusting on the dispo or because I know what we're seeing is we're seeing where buyers are coming back and saying, hey, that ARV, we're adjusting 5 to 10%. And if it's like a full rehab, we might go higher than that. And then we're making that a new ARV because now we got to hold. And we don't know if the market's obviously if it's going to continue to go down. Are you seeing that on your end, or is that something that people are hyper making it more than what it is?
No, we're definitely seeing that.
Okay, got it.
We had that conversation today with a couple of buyers.
Okay,
and I don't know if they're just using it to try to beat us up.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Yeah.
Yeah. So we spent I spent 2 hours this morning with our Dispo team going over calls and talking about negotiation type stuff. You want to do a good job being able to negotiate.
Yeah.
Dispo is always more of a fist fight than
dude,
right?
You're dealing with all drivers 100% of the time.
Right. So, over on acquisitions, it's very empathy based, right? Mrs. Smith has a problem. When we do, that's why we do so much more training on the Dispo side, because we want to make sure the people that we're putting in the ring can have the conversations about, private money and, 1031 exchange. We don't ever want to put someone on the phone and make them sound stupid. But we spend a lot of time on, teaching them how to negotiate and understand what the buyer's pain point is, because buyers have pain points just like anybody else. They need to buy the next deal, keep the crew moving, spend some money, whatever it is. But yeah, we're really doubling down and spending a lot of time on that.
Got it. Ryan, you were going to say something?
Yeah, David, I noticed on your training, one of the things you specialized in was you move your deals pretty quick. You sell them at a little bit lower level than everyone else. So I just want to how you do that. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I mean, we're not. So because I'm an investor myself, and I've bought a lot of properties, and years ago I was buying off of MLS. If there's anything I hate more in this world than highest and best, I don't know what it is. Like, it makes me out of my fucking mind. And listen, I get it. Everybody for the last couple of years has been like, I tell my buyers they better give me their highest and best. And you know what though? Those buyers are telling you right now, how about you go fuck yourself, because now they have a little bit more control. So we've never done that, right? The way that we look at deals, right? In the disposition side, I always look at it like I'm standing on the beach and there's always a wave coming at me, like a tidal wave. What is acquisition sending me, right? We are a high-speed wholesale company. I need to move today's deals out because I have more deals coming. So I'm not trying to take blood, get blood from a stone, whatever it is. I'm not trying to, squeeze 28 when I could take 23 and move on with my life, because I need to get this one out because I have the next one coming. Because you know what happens? You let that stack up for 3 weeks, right? And now I've got 30 deals on my board and I have a problem, right? Now I'm slashing the prices just to get rid of stuff. So that's just never been my personal philosophy. Now, if you're doing 2 deals a month, knock yourself out. Like we're doing 2 deals a day. We can't do that.
I love that thinking, because Ryan and I are the same way too. Like you basically we always tell the JV partners that bring us deals, we're say, look, we work 2 ways. If it's a tight deal, we're going to JV 50-50. But if it's a good deal, just give us your net. We don't add 20, 25. Let's move it as fast as possible, right?
Yeah.
5K. If we can add 10K, I think 10K is around the max. Now, if it's a really great deal, we'll try to maximize it. But obviously, I love what you said. It's the speed and sell it. That's what we want. That's the end goal anyways.
Yeah. Now we target in-house, we're always looking for deals to be 20,000.
Yeah.
Right. That's our goal.
Yeah. In-house. Yeah.
We're actually running like 18.6 is I think where we're at right now.
Nice.
But we do look for 20,000 on JV deals.
Yep.
Because we want to split 10,
Right.
My Dispo team, they're on a blended salary plus commission.
Correct. Yeah.
So, for them.
No, on a JV, it makes sense. I get that. Like, you're going to maximize. Like, we got a deal right now that was brought to us at 38, and we're pushing it at 68. And so we're splitting that, right? So that makes sense because it was brought to us, and we have two buyers going to look at it. But so that makes sense. He has a second question is, do you have any recommendations for him to skip trace?
I mean, the only skip tracing we do is on when we're skip tracing buyers, because everything on our acquisition side is PPC. I mean, we're skip tracing them right out of PropStream.
Got it. Okay, cool. Mateo has a question. He says, what strategies do you use to get your comp numbers in non-disclosure states like Texas besides the MLS? Anything you can give advice on that?
Yeah, I mean, we pull from PropStream. PropStream's got close MLS data. They just re-rolled it back out.
But
that we'd go to Zillow. We'll draw a circle on the map, and now I've just got to look at the pictures, and that is the one good thing Zillow can do is I can look at pictures and go, okay, this looks like mine. Let me look at the inside, but it gets to be a little bit more of a guessing game for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So when you are in PropStream, because we do the same thing. We'll have PropStream, Zillow, and then if we have batch, we'll look at batch as well too. So we're kind of cross referencing through all of them, and then kind of doing a guesstimate. Because at the end of that's all it is, right? The ARV is your the best way that you can guess the value. Is there inside PropStream for those that have it? Is there like any tips, like maybe one or two tips that you can give when they're looking at and analyzing the deal?
Sure. I mean, in general, we're searching. Let's take Texas out because there's 39 other states first, and then we'll come back to Texas. We go to cash buyers. We'll search back. It was a year. Now we're going back 6 months, and we'll start at a half of a mile, and then I'll take those and I'll sort them from low to high.
Okay. Oh, so you do go back a whole year?
We were, but now we're.
Oh, okay.
Unless we just don't have any comps, right?
Right.
But if we got to go back a year, like we're pushing down. We're taking less contracts right now because we want to be sure, because what happens right now is the worst thing you can do to your Dispo team or Dispo person or whoever it is give them a bunch of shitty contracts.
100%.
Because literally, it's like pulling a bag of bricks up the hill, right? You're going to wear them out. Even if they're the best, right? If you start giving them a bunch of unsellable contracts week after week after week, they're going to be like, this is stupid. I'm not making any money. I can't do this. People are telling me I'm an idiot all day. So, we're very careful to not take a bunch of bad contracts. We had a little batch during whatever happened back about 4 weeks ago, one in Phoenix, one in Jacksonville, where there were pretty houses, right? Mm-hmm. Like pretty houses. And we were probably 80 cents on the dollar. 8 months ago, we would have sold them right away. But when that little market shift happened, people got nervous. They weren't sure they could make enough money. So, we had to kill some deals, and that sucks, right? Because I had an acquisitions person who thought they were going to get paid on that deal. So, we don't like that. I don't want to do that to my people. We're just not in the contract collection game. I talked to another big cartel boss over the weekend, and they had 59 contracts and ended up canceling 30 of them because they had too many in rural areas. They were just contracting everything that they possibly could, and they realized they couldn't move them.
That's always been one of my pet peeves is that and it's so misleading too, right? Like I always say contracts don't mean anything. It's weird that people celebrate contracts and not closings. I have never understood that, right? and to a fault, I've done it before. I'm not saying I've never done it, but I gotten away from that because it's very misleading as you're seeing all these contracts and the attrition rate, which is the cancellation rate for our business, is like 60% average. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're running like a 45%, which still feels high.
Right.
It feels high to me because I ran a local model where I closed 90 to 95%. Right.
Got it.
So for everybody who's listening, two different basic models of wholesaling. The local model, you're wholesaling in your town and you're running over there. You're walking through the house.
Yep.
Know if it smells, if the floors are crooked, whatever it is.
You shouldn't be canceling 4 out of 10 on those.
Yeah.
Or 6 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah. Very high success rate there because you're standing in the house and there's nothing unknown. When you're on a virtual model, which means we're contracting things over the phone, completely different ball game. And there whoever's doing your acquisitions has to be really good at asking probing questions. You can't be like, hey Max, so how's the kitchen? Good. Okay. Like, no. Like,
every kitchen is good from all my conversations.
Yeah, everything is good, right? And then I'm looking at 2 screens here. So I'll sometimes the pictures will come back and I'll look at the CRM and I'll read the notes and I'll look back and I'm like, is this even the same fucking place? Because we did such a shitty job at taking notes or asking questions. Well, god darn, no wonder we're 40% high. We just have to build the deal. Which again, now I've paid $100 to send somebody over to take pictures. And how much time did it take to schedule that? I mean, there's real money that we're spending on the Dispo side too.
Yeah, I love that. And something that we started doing. There's 2. What is it? What is that website called, Ryan? That we started using to hire them? No, to hire them for pictures.
Oh, that was Thumbtack, and then
We Go Look, right? I think it's called or something like that. So sometimes the sellers can't like provide us good pictures and stuff, but you're right. I've had sellers where they say, "Hey, I just remodeled the property," and I say, "Okay, no problem." And it was a local one. Obviously, I was able to go out there. I go out there and I walk into the house, and I'm looking like, "Oh, okay, you remodeled this house," and I don't see anything remodeled. And then we start walking, and I said, "Where what did you?" Just out of the curiosity, what was updated so I can take notes and take that into account. She goes, so I can take it into an account when I'm doing my analysis. Walks me directly to the bathroom and says, "We changed the toilet and the flooring in the bathroom."
Yeah. Our acquisitions team has gotten really, heavy right now on, can you send me anything? Send me some pictures. Doesn't have to be perfect. And they're not the pictures that we're going to use for marketing. But if we can get pictures, right? Now we have an idea of what we're at least looking. I don't care if they got grease stains on them. Now we get some kind of an idea of what we're all talking about. So a while back, we got this house in Knoxville, and the seller told Knoxville, Tennessee, the seller told our acquisitions person, yeah, it needs some drywall and there's some AC ducting hanging in one of the rooms. We're like, okay, moderate rehab, right? Maybe. Yeah. We go up there, Max, I shit you not, these pictures come back and there's not a stitch of drywall in this house. And there's ducting hanging down in every room. And
very, very different.
I called the acquisition person and I'm like, for real? Well, that's what they said. I'm like, okay, we need to ask some more questions here. Like how much drywall, just so I can budget. It's $20 a sheet. How many sheets do you think it needs? So that's the importance of asking good questions.
Exactly. That's so funny. Ken has a very good statement. I like this. I want to get your perspective on this because this was huge when I got started. I don't know if it works now, but he says, when I got started, somebody told me to send out ghost ads for cash buyers. He says, I feel like that's wasting buyers' time. Is it better to build those relationships when you actually have a deal, or do you think you can also build relationships without a deal? I guess I'll just add that to his question.
And Ken, you're hitting us with the moral dilemmas tonight. Well, listen, I did it on bandit signs, so if there's anything that's even worse, it's that.
I did it on Craigslist when I first used to start. When I was started, Can you explain a little bit what he means by ghost ads and ghost properties?
What he's talking about putting out an ad that says, 3-2-1 bath, or good Lord, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Highland Park, available, needs some work, $99,000. So what's going to happen is your phone's going to start ringing. And, if you're going to do that, and listen, there are people that do far worse than this.
Absolutely.
Business, right?
Absolutely.
The great thing about wholesaling is it has a low barrier of entry. The bad thing about wholesaling is it has a low barrier of entry. So it's some wackadoodle. But listen, what I would say is, hey Ryan, that property is, it's not available anymore. Tell me what you're looking for. So I would roll right into, let me start pre-screening my buyer. Oh, fantastic. Is there any particular area you like, or is there a price range that you're looking for? And, I would roll right into trying to dig deep, and, pretty much whatever Ryan says, I'd be like, man, that sounds like some stuff I've got in the pipeline. What's the best way for me to get a hold of you? Give me, what's your email? Because you're talking to them on the phone, right? So you've got their phone number. And I would start to build the buyers list that way. Do I love it? no, today, 2022, David does not love that. But I'm telling you, 2009, David did that shit all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
So, your perspective changes as you get old. And Ken, you look like you're a young guy. Dude, you got to build a buyer's list. I mean, that's a way to do it. You can also put up, we do 2 types of ads. We have VAs running these all the time. We do what's called global list building. And I don't know why we picked that term, but, we're always posting ads and things that say, hey, Nationwide Property Liquidators, we're the nation's leading, source of off-market deals for investors. Give us a call, right? Or we push them to the website, which has a squeeze page, which just basically is a page they go to and they've got to enter some information to get beyond that. So you don't necessarily have to say, I've got a purple house on the blue hill that I'm trying to sell. You could say, hey, we've got a great list of off-market deals. Please call me, get it to my list, or please send me a message, or, some version of that. I think that, if the other one makes you feel icky, do that. But yeah, we would do bandit signs, dirt cheap house, 30 cents on the dollar. And I would say call Heather, which is my wife. Why? Because one, they were handwritten bandit signs, which are going to pull better than printed signs.
Mm-hmm.
People feel more comfortable calling a woman than they do a dude, right?
Yep.
My office is, we've almost had all women at one point. And honestly, they convert a lot better. But weird story, like people would call and I would answer. I'm like, hey, this is David. Yeah, it's all signed that said call Heather. I'm like, oh, okay, what's your office? What can I help you with?
Very disappointed.
Well, I'll just wait for her to call me. I'm like, yeah, hold your breath, homie. So
very disappointed that a man answered, huh?
Yeah. So, Ken, are you wasting the buyer's time? Define that, right? Remember, I said earlier, all buyers have a pain point, right? Just like sellers. So, when you're talking to your buyer, you need to ask them, hey, how many deals have you bought in the last 6 months? How many deals are you looking to close on in the next 90 days? How are you funding your deal? Where do you typically find your deal, right? Because what you want to get out of there is you want to find out, do they hate bidding highest and best on MLS? Have they dealt with a bunch of shithead wholesalers? Hey, does he have a crew that he needs to keep busy? I've taken rehab deals that I knew I was going to make $15,000 on because I could not let my crew go when we were busy, because once they go,
you don't get them back. Yeah, you don't get them back.
So every buyer is different. The buyer who does 2 deals a year wants to make $50,000. He doesn't care. But the professional rehabbers, they have a business. This is their business. They need to keep cranking. But you're not going to know any of that stuff if you don't get on the phone and talk to them. So, talk to them. Hey, what kind of stuff are you looking for? And when you talk to enough buyers, you're going to realize, they want a particular area instead of another one. And then you can at least target your marketing some, and, not the reverse wholesaling thing. I've never believed in that, but at least you know what people are searching for. But yeah, you can definitely build a relationship without having a property. It's not going to be a great one, but you're going to get them. So when you do have something, Ken, you can call them back up and go, hey, Joe, this is Ken. I know, it's been a couple of weeks since we talked, but you were telling me you were looking for duplexes. I just picked one up, and, you were the first person I thought about because that's exactly what you told me. Right. So you're going back and, you're anchoring them to your previous conversation so that they're going to remember who you are, hopefully, if you've made any kind of impact. And there you go.
Yeah. No, I love that. One thing I want to add to that really quick is you can build a relationship with the buyer. It won't be a solidified one, right? Until they see that you're coming through a value. You can't keep calling them so you can definitely, and it's based on the approach. But I used to use those on Craigslist too as well, and it was interesting. Yeah, it was interesting to see that. So earlier you mentioned about your Dispo course. Can you tell us 3 things if somebody was interested in in that Dispo course? I know we're coming up to an hour here, and I know you're in Eastern time, but I want to touch on that. Your Dispo course, if somebody that wants to get better at Dispo, that basically is struggling on that side of their business, what are 3 things that they'll find in the Dispo course that can help their business today, and maybe help them to sell some deals?
Sure. So the way that, and thank you for, I didn't come on here to shill a course or anything, but
no, I know.
So here's the way the course was done. I've done a lot of coaching to people who run wholesale companies, and it was very overall and broad. We're talking about Dispo based acquisitions and why all that works. And ultimately, what I realized people really wanted was for me to train their teams. Right. So
that always happens.
yeah, dispoteamtraining.com. It's what it is it's geared for you to be able to bring somebody in off the street and train them from ground zero. Like literally the first module is what is wholesaling? Because maybe you hired in a phone salesman or a car salesman, somebody that's new to this industry, and you need to teach them that. So in the course, that's one thing is we're very good at building a good foundation for you to grow on. So, what is wholesaling? What is the full timeline of a wholesale deal? What actually are all of the other things involved? And, maybe if it's your company, this is certainly good for people who run their own company and need to get better at Dispo, because from there, what we're going to start doing is, we go into the whole science and philosophy of building a buyer's list, right?
Right.
Who are your buyers, right? There are different types of buyers. There are rehabbers, there are landlords, there's land development guys. So let's kind of break that out. And, from the time we get this deal on the Dispo side, like in selling a property, you're selling a story.
Yep.
Right? We've got to paint a picture of how this person can get this property and make money from it. Like otherwise they're not buying shit. Like
right,
if
correct.
you can't explain to somebody how they can make $30, $40, $50, $60,000 off of this deal, I promise you nobody's doing it. Nobody's wiring $250,000 for fun, right?
Right. No, they're not.
So one thing is you're going to learn, how to identify buyers, how to pull a specific buyers list that, is going to be good for your type of property, this type of property, right? Because you're going to get lots of different types of properties. But we're going to talk about buyers list. There's a couple of modules on negotiation, but really the biggest thing, the biggest kind of meat and potatoes is going to be marketing. Like we really break down in minute details how to do marketing, big marketing, small marketing, so marketing, like Ken's question earlier, marketing for buyers, how we do that, right? The big, like we're always building our buyers list kind of post, right? But then, how to do the marketing on the specific properties, where to do it, how to do it, things like, color and frequency and, all the things that I've learned over, 13 years of doing this full time. Because when I started, we were in a real recession and I could walk down the street and pick up 3 contracts, not a soul to sell them to, right? So we had to get really good at doing dispositions, and, we built our business in a terrible time. So when we got good the last couple of years, man, we were living on easy street, but it also does not faze us at all to go into this period we're right now.
Yeah, because you obviously prepared for it as well, right? And then again, I don't want to bring that up because that's not what we do here, right? Sell course and stuff. But I think your course is really, really great because it's built on your experience, right? It's not built on theory. It's not built on what does Raphael called it? I can't remember the word he used, but basically,
I saw him in Houston, and he was going to Cancun, and I was gonna do some stuff with him. So I need to send him a message tomorrow.
No, and so we always talk about that, right? Because that's why I wanted to bring it up, because even Ryan, Ryan, you want to touch a little bit on it when you were on it, because I put the link as well too on our comment section so people can click on it. Okay, David?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think David did a good job putting it together, like you're saying, getting a baseline in the beginning, and then slowly start setting the format, how to really build out your buyers list, how to market it. I like my favorite thing, I wrote this down because it really stuck out to me, was your Facebook hack. It's super simple, but I thought that was really huge. So
dude, I built the whole Atlanta, the investor lift, almost the whole Atlanta buyers list was built that way. Wow. Because I knew what I uploaded and I know what's there now, and the bulk of it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so there's some awesome. There's a lot I can go on and on for that. I told Max I like that course. That's a really good course.
Yeah,
thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because so just like I have scripts and I have sales modules and sales system. Yes, I learned it I went and got trained, but also that training wasn't specific to real estate. I had to go and get my face kicked in, get beat up. I was going to 3-4 appointments in 2019, a day basically, right? Acquisition side. I come back to my sales training coach and say, here's what's happened. And he would make fun of me and laugh at me. And then I go back and execute, and then I got better. And so that's why I think your course provides real world tactics for today. So there's one more question, David, that came in right now. William said, David, what is the most common line you use when you need a buyer to come up a few $1,000? Oh,
Yeah. So, fantastic. William, so I get it, man, that, I respect the hustle, and I know that you want the best deal that you can. You know, man, let me just explain to you a little bit about us. We're a nationwide property liquidation company, and I don't run stuff up 40,000 to come down 20. So, I'm making my best price my first price. So that's one thing. The other thing I will sometimes say is,
so hold on. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Dave, but I like that you said I don't run up myself 40,000 to come down to 20,000.
Yeah,
see, that's gold right there.
yeah.
Ryan, you writing this down? No, just kidding.
Yeah, but the other thing, and I have to attribute this to my brother. He gave me this one. Is William, man, I know you need another rental. I know you need to place some money. Man, I'd hate to see you miss this over 2 months rent.
Jeez. I like
That's
it.
pretty good.
I like it. Yeah, that hits them right where they're familiar.
Well, yeah, I mean, because it just puts in perspective that we're arguing over next to nothing.
Yeah.
So the next question be, we study a lot of Chris Voss. We have his master class, and we put all of our people through
He's
that.
great. Yeah, I love Chris Voss.
You guys aren't paying $29 a year or whatever master class is. You miss. I don't watch any of the other stuff. We run everybody in our team.
His is the only good one. His is the only Chris Voss masterclass out of all of them are good. Yeah.
We run them through Dispo team training. We can put them on the phone for about 2 weeks, and then we run them through the masterclass. But if you're going to give any kind of reduction, it's a theory of reciprocity. We use give to get, right? So, I'm going to negotiate them just as far as I can. And, the final straw is, all right, William, let me do this. Let me go talk to my boss. Man, if I can get this done for you, are you ready to go today? Like, if I can go in there and convince him to do this, or my partner, or, for me, it was Dudley the Bulldog for a long time, right? If I can convince him that, my partner, that we can, to take this offer, are you ready to sign a contract to do EMD today? Right? Like, I want a firm commitment, right?
Yep.
So if I'm going to give something, if I'm going to give 1,000 or 2,000 off, I want to get that we're signing this contract, right?
I love it.
So give to get is important. And kind of one last thing that I tell people is slow the fuck down, right? So we all get nervous and we start talking fast because all these things are racing through our brain. And, the person that you're talking to on the other side of the phone or in person, like, imagine this, like, you should be able to see the numbers above their head because they're trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So, I started doing this because I would get nervous and get, like, my chest would start constricting because I get so nervous talking to sellers and buyers. And so I'd be like I was really thinking about it, right? And it's like, if you're a football fan, it's like the running game. You've got to slow things down, right?
Yeah.
I've got to talk to William or to somebody, especially if I'm, we're doing owner finance or anything like that. It's going to be like, let me see. So we're saying if we do 2,000, but you can close in 30, that's the pacing it's got to be. Slow down. Because here's what happens. If I start talking really fast like this, someone's going to say yes, yes, yes. And they're going to get the fucking off the phone because they just want to get off the phone because they can't, somebody's got to be able to do the calculations in their head as fast as it's coming out your mouth. And the odds of that happening are fucking slim and none. Right? So these people aren't real estate people. Like,
yeah.
it's something they do every day. We do it every day because we can talk back and forth very quickly. When you're talking to somebody else, like, slow down, mirroring and matching, like, slow down.
I love that. So there's so I'm a big believer. There's one of the, because I got trained through Sandler. So one of the Sandler rules is don't make a move without a commitment, right? So it's the same thing. It works with sellers just like it does work with buyers, right? Like, hey, let's pretend we were able to do this. What happens next? Yeah. Like, we want to get that commitment, right? And my sales coach always used to say is get an IOU. So you got to get something of equal or higher value when you're giving something, right? You can't just spill your candy on the lobby and give everything away. It's got to be, yeah. So it's got to be, a give and take, like you're saying. I love that.
Yeah, well, because what happens is, and I've seen this. I've told our team, and sometimes we get somebody new in and they don't pay attention. So we get a buyer and he's like, oh, $10,000 less or whatever, and they, whatever it is, right? We make a big concession, and we don't get anything in return. We don't extract anything in return. Well, now there's not equilibrium in our relationship anymore. Now one person's above the other. And I tell them, I promise you, this buyer is going to be a pain in the ass all the way to closing. Their EMD is going to be late. They're not going to get their docs over. I mean, because, you know, they didn't have to pay any price for getting what they got. They literally went into the grocery store, stole the prime rib, and walked out. And there was no payment for that, right?
Yeah.
So now, you know, if you ask for something and got it for free, what are you going to do? Ask for more.
Yep.
Right. And what happens is, you know, people get desperate to move a property or to sell it or to buy a property, and they let that happen, and they let it happen 2 or 3 times, and now it's like a 5-year-old. Now we've given them ice cream every day for 5 days, and now we've got to stop on day 6, and it's very difficult, right? Because you've trained them that's okay.
Yeah, we had a conversation today, or actually a buyer hit us up for that deal that I mentioned earlier. It's in Lafayette, North Carolina. And he says, so we just posted it today and we started getting so much action. And then he's like, well, I just bought one around the corner for 45,000. And we're like, okay, cool. He started moving really fast. And so I had Ryan text him back and I said, look, just let him know, hey, we're not making a decision today. It just went on Investor Lift, right? Like we just posted it. And his next text was, oh, so you're collecting offers. So he tried to pin us right to that. So you're just going to collect the offers and choose the highest. And I told Ryan, no, text him back. I said, let's tell him this. Look, we're not collecting offers, but we're also not selling it for 45,000 either. That's right. So then what happened, bro, after that text went out? What happened, Brian?
He called and talked, wants to go see it.
Dude, I'm telling you, pull away is the most powerful thing there is. And people are always afraid to do it. I don't understand. Like, I give my people permission, and I feel like they're over there, you know, just laying themselves on the desk for these people. I'm like, hang up the phone, call somebody else. You are a desperate seller.
No, for sure, man. That's awesome. I appreciate that segment. Maximo loves it. He said he can dig it, so he loves everything you said on that segment. So cool. So man, awesome stuff, by the way. Appreciate all this. This is great. I think we've covered quite a bit. So if somebody want to get a hold of you, wanted to reach out to you, maybe to work with your team, yourself, what's the best way that somebody can get a hold of you?
Yeah, I'm easy to find. I'm Instagram. All of my socials are all the same.
You're an Instagram star, by the way, now. What do you got, like 200,000 followers, 240 or something? That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I have my boy Sheik doing it. And so we started, it's a weird story. We started on Instagram like 4 months ago or something. And for the first month, it didn't move. It was 1,500. I'm like, okay, well, like anything, it's an investment. I'm like, if I could get to 10,000 people, wouldn't that'd be cool? Help me sell some stuff. And all of a sudden, after a month, it went to 30,000. Like it was just a couple videos hit. I think it was one at Ricardo's event. It really hit.
Yeah.
And then for 1 month, dude, I could not get to 31,000. I'm like, all right. And then 3 weeks ago, bam, in 4 days, it went to 218,000. I was adding 40 and 50,000 people a day. And I had one video that hit 8 million views. We were talking about how we, we bought, 27 doors for $1 million with owner finance. And it's been great. So Instagram, we're pretty active over there.
What's your Instagram handle? Is it just at David Olt REI?
Yeah, all of
so
is all the same.
So if you guys want to reach out to David, want to ask him, reach out to him, see how you can work with him, and reach out to him through Instagram. He's definitely he's on there. He's a star, IG star. So
I guess. I mean, we post a lot of content videos. I think there's 230 or 240, just video. It's just content, right? It's not me in a wig doing any dances. We're just you're
not painted all blue. David.
Come on, man.
I know, I'm just joking, David. But cool. I appreciate it.
About that.
Right? No, for sure. Well, David, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close it out. I'm gonna bring you back in, and maybe you can leave. Think about a word of advice that you want to leave with the listeners, and then I'll bring you back on right now. Okay. Cool. So, man, that was really good, Ryan. I don't know about you, but hopefully you were taking notes, man. I think that was awesome.
I got more to ask him.
Yeah, it's crazy. But guys, that David Old's a walking encyclopedia. The guy's been in business forever. This is why we do the show, right? This is why we do Club Collab. We don't get on here and talk about hype and talk about, what's have people share their stories, which is cool. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but we like to talk about the meat and potatoes, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything that's really going on out in the real world, right? I know we all struggle, we all go through situations just like you do, and I love bringing people onto this to the show that have been through that might be experiencing, they're shifting, they're changing, and they can communicate, and not just to you the viewers but also myself, right? Help me in my business. And this is what the goal was for Ryan and I when we started this the show was to bring individuals on that can provide that. So I don't know, Ryan, do you want to say something? But that was awesome, by the way. So
No, I think that was really great, man. I love that, the diversity of people that we bring in. Everyone has, their own special niche as far as, topic that they bring in. What's up, babe?
Sorry.
hello.
Sit down now. But no, it's just awesome, man, that you're able to bring these, these people in for our viewers and for everyone to learn from and to take action on right now that they can actually implement in their business.
Of course.
So,
Cool. So I'm gonna bring David back so that way he can, give a word of encouragement for those that are struggling on their business right now. So David, you want to?
And we're back.
Oh, hold on, real quick.
Am I there? Oh, okay. Are you guys there?
We're here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, man, it's exactly like you said. There are good days and bad days, and don't believe the Instagram hype that everybody only has good days, and we're all just driving around in Lambos and Teslas, and we're on yachts all the time, right? Even big businesses struggle, right? And the piece of advice that I always like to give people, because there's more people starting than are at our level, is one, don't quit, but find a tribe of people that are on the same journey as you, that you can go out there and run with and be with and surround yourself with, because there's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days, right? If the three of us are, running together, like there's going to be a day where I'm down and I need somebody to say, it's going to be good. Let's get focused. Let's do the thing, right? And then there's another day where I may need to be that guy for somebody else. So, there's nothing more valuable than having a group of, guys or gals or just people that are in this business that, understand the frustrations you're going through, because being an entrepreneur is hard. Like, it's not easy. It's like if you're, doing this by yourself and you're sitting at your kitchen table and, you feel like a man or woman alone on an island, that you're the only person with this struggle, and all of us here have been through struggles, whether it's, bad months or marketing not working or breaking up with a partner or, things that at the time all seem like the end of the world, like, oh my God, I'm never going to recover from this. And when I went through the partnership split, I was lucky that I had investors, guys that were my friends and gals that I could call and say, hey, here's what I'm going through. What do you think? Right. And now, I've got people that can do that for me too. So yeah, whether they're people across the country or people in your own town, people that have some experience and that you can kind of all grow and be on this journey together.
I love it, man. I couldn't say better. That's an awesome word. So everyone, thank you for joining us tonight, and everyone have a good night, and thank you for